Just want to welcome everyone, and first and foremost, thank Matt Benning for joining us. Matt was one of 5 players who skated today, first players on the ice in a very long time at Rogers Place. We have a question from Mark Spector. Mark Spector, go ahead. Wait for your microphone.
How you doing, Matt?
Good, thanks. How are you doing?
Awesome. Okay, so you've walked into hundreds of rinks in your life, and you started lots of seasons, and you've been to lots of training camps and all those things. What was the difference, between your ears today, walking into that rink and having a skate with the guys under these circumstances?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different circumstance. I think besides maybe my first training camp, you go in, you kind of know what's expected, you kind of know how the days are going to go and that sort of thing. And then today I kind of had that same feeling of my first training camp, not knowing. I mean, obviously we had guidelines and that sort of thing, but there's people there to help us through and make sure we're doing the right things to stay safe and wear masks and proper hygiene and that sort of thing. So it was exciting to get back to the rink, but it was a different feeling. A lot of things we had to do in order to be safe and enjoy the facility.
Top of the list, Reed Wilkins from Ched Radio. Reed, just check your microphone. Go ahead.
Check. Got me, Matt?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for doing this. Andre, thank you as well. Yes, okay, so you haven't been together with really any teammates since the Jets game almost 3 months ago, and obviously it's quite a small group of guys out there on the ice. So, what do you do? Does does it feel like what you'd usually be doing first or second week of August? Did somebody take the initiative and organize some stuff? What was the vibe actually like there out on the ice?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't say it would be an August skate. I think today, we've been training and that sort of thing. It's one thing to train, and it's another thing to get on the ice. And I think on your first ice session, you're more or less trying to get your legs under you and your feet under you. So I think we spent a good 15-20 minutes in kind of just getting that part of our game dialed in and getting used to our edges. Some people can get out there and pick up where they left off, but I'm speaking for myself. It's if I'm off the ice for 2 days, it feels like I've never skated in my life before. So 3 months was a little nerve-wracking, but I felt a lot better than what I expected. I think Alex Jason kind of took the reins on the drills, and you know what? We've done a lot of drills throughout our careers, and it's more or less just a conversation and what we want to accomplish for the skate, but most of the drills were chasers drills.
Okay, next question, Josh Clipperton, Canadian Press. Go ahead, Josh.
You obviously had to get tested a couple of days ago. The nasal swab is not the most comfortable thing I've heard, and players are going to have to, if that's the test that's available, that's what you guys have to do. So what was that like? And then the whole process of going through the self-diagnosis at home, I guess, getting the temperature check, just everything that you had to go through just to get on the ice.
Yeah, I think it's more of a educational experience. I mean, my wife's in the medical field. She's a nurse, so she kind of knows how that all goes and that sort of thing. And yeah, I mean, it's uncomfortable, but it's part of it. And I mean, there's players that are already on the ice, so we wanted to do whatever we could to get out there and get ready for what's ahead, regardless of what it is. So I think some players might complain about it, but at the end of the day, they're going to do it if they have the choice. So regardless of what it is, we're going to have to do it.
Okay, I'll make a last call for other questions. Jim, we'll give you a couple seconds if you want to text me. In the meantime, we do have another question. Josh Clipperton from Canadian Press again.
Yeah, Matt, I'm just wondering if at any moment today you sort of looked around and thought what it would be like you've been in a lot of empty buildings before, but what it would be like to actually play a game in that building, in that empty building, this summer, and how you guys might be able to motivate yourselves, self-motivating, I guess, in that situation.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think that's something that we're going to have to kind of figure out within the team. I think it's just energy within the dressing room, within the guys. I think just talking from myself and my perspective, a lot of the times when I'm playing, I don't even notice that there's a crowd there. But you can definitely feel the energy, and if there's a big hit or a big save or a goal and that sort of thing. So that's something that, I mean, we're just gonna have to get used to. But I mean, we practiced in that building many times before, where there's no fans, and we can pick up the intensity for practice, and I don't think it'll be an issue for our team. I think that playoffs, regardless of who's there and the energy, I think that guys can get excited enough to bring the noise for that.
So on behalf of Jim Matheson, we haven't been able to connect. So his question was more, when would you normally be skating in a lead up to the season, and how many players would you be skating with?
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of dependent on when the season ends, but usually I like to take 2 or 3 weeks off after the season, if I have no injuries, just to kind of let the body recoup. And then I think throughout my career, it's been a learning experience. I think my first year, I kind of I was working out with Mark Letestu, and he's a guy that likes to jump on later in the summer and get more ice times later in summer. I didn't know what to do, so I followed him, and I think that I found out that I'm a guy that maybe should get on the ice earlier. So the next year I jumped on. I think started in June. I know there's lots of guys on our team that 1 or 2 weeks into their training in the summer that they're jumping on the ice. So I think it's dependent on the player, but I'm a guy that likes to get out there early, and whether it's 2 or 3 times a week early in summer and then you ramp it up later in summer, that's kind of something that you have to talk with your strength coach. And I think Chad Drummond has done a great job with us and giving us workouts that kind of align with what we want to accomplish on the ice.
Next question, Mark Spector, sportsnet.ca. Go ahead, Mark.
Matt, the country's been through a lot here, and the fans have been denied playoff hockey, and they're sitting and waiting at home. There's no sports anywhere. You can't watch a darn golf tournament on Sunday, for Pete's sakes. You guys are eventually going to come back, and it's going to be a big deal in this country, do you sort of have your head around what the return to hockey represents, and how much the average Oiler fan sitting at home is just dying to see you guys skate out in those orange uniforms and play a game? Do you have a concept of all that?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's important for people. I mean, we've been cooped up inside for so long without any sports, and it's such a hockey focused country. Alberta is very passionate about their sports as well, so I think it offers some hope for people, and I think that it'll be a unique experience. I mean, whenever the playoff starts, it's as a fan, does it get any better than having nice weather outside and enjoying a drink and watching a playoff game? I think that's a unique opportunity for fans. I mean, people will be excited there even before COVID-19. I mean, people, especially in Alberta, love when we're in the playoffs and are very passionate in that sense. But I think that's regardless of when we start, the people in Alberta are going to be extremely excited for us, and I think just for sports to start back up as well.
Now, Daniel Nugent-Bowman, The Athletic. Go ahead, Daniel.
I hope you're well. Thanks so much for doing this. I just have a question about the possibility of, obviously we don't know where the games are going to be, but even if they're in Edmonton, there's a possibility that you'll have to kind of be, in a hotel, and you might not be able to see, family members for the course of the playoffs. I'm just curious about your thoughts about that, and how you feel you'd be able to manage under those circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would having the hub city in Edmonton would be an unbelievable experience for everybody. It would help the economy here, which would be a great. But I mean, yeah, I'm kind of conflicted on that. I mean, my wife's due in 2 or 3 weeks. So when that kind of all starts up, obviously it'd be such a tease for me that I can't drive 10 minutes down the road and see my new baby. So that's something that I'm just gonna have to handle as it goes and kind of roll with the punches. But you know what, our facilities are so big. There's lots of space, and I mean, I think that if we're in the running, it's legitimate, and just from what I experienced today, going to the rink and going through everything, that they know what they're doing, and I have confidence in them.
And a final question will be with Reed Wilkins, Jet Radio. Reed, go ahead.
All right, Matt, I'm just wondering, I mean, I'm looking at all these contexts for you. Your wife being in the medical profession, baby on the way, Edmonton is a possible hub city, and just trying to get hockey back in general. How much do you find yourself, like, do you watch Dr. Hinshaw's daily updates? Do you read a lot of the comments from the virus experts out there? Like, how much have you sort of dived into this just as a human being to be informed on it and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think more my wife, she's kind of watched the news and that sort of thing and kept up, especially just being in the medical field. Obviously, she's not working, but she has contacts in that sense. And I mean, the NHL set us up. I've been on all the calls with our PA representatives and that sort of thing, and they set us up with a infectious disease expert, and I got the opportunity to ask a bunch of questions, mostly related around the baby and the immune system of the baby and that sort of thing. So I think that gave me some clarity, me and my wife some clarity on what's ahead of us. I think all of us, we don't know when it's going to start, but I think it will start. So I mean, just this whole situation, there's been a ton of uncertainty, and I think you just got to stay focused on what you need to do to be ready, and that's working out and now skating, which is exciting. So, I mean, whenever it starts, I think I'll be ready.